Hello Modelers Alliance, I'm Eric, and today we're going to be looking at two items from a new company, Danger Close Dioramics. We'll be looking at the hardened gun emplacement and the stone arched bridge. But hey, before we get looking at these, how about we head over to their website and see what this company is all about. Here we are at the Danger Close Dioramics webpage. You see they have several subcategories up here, so we'll go into the Foundation series first and see what they have to offer here. These will be their bigger items, such as the stone arch bridge, which we'll take a look at a little bit later, but they also have many other bases as well, Pacific mostly, and it looks like some half arches that are pretty universal, can be used in any theater. Another interesting product line that they're starting to carry are pigments. For now, they have basically some of the standard pigments, your black and white, Southeast Asia, rust colors, and some European. But as you can see, they're getting ready to expand the line quite a bit. So keep an eye on this area as well. Next, we'll take a look at the European Theater series. This is broken down into a little bit smaller bases. You got a muddy road, Roman ruins, and the cobbled street with a tram rail in it as well. Also some Gothic buildings and wall sections. And many of these sections can be used with these other bases as well. So it looks like they're off to a good start. We'll have to keep an eye on them for sure. Now let's take a look at the hardened emplacement. Now this casting was designed for use with a Panther turret in mind, but it's generic enough it can be used with any turret to represent any era. Here we have a Tiger 1 turret that the Germans experimented with in a hardened emplacement, and that would make for a rather unique subject. You don't see very many people doing that with this. Next up is the T-34-85 turret. It's been sitting out in the weather for a while, so it has some interesting rust. Great painting exercise, but would make for a good subject as well. Next up, we have the Finnish Coastal Defense Gun. This is actually a T-55 turret with a fiberglass shell. This would make for a really interesting subject. I haven't seen anything like that, so that would be pretty cool. Lastly, it's generic enough and can be used with wargaming. Warhammer 40K comes to mind. Place any turret on there that you need, whatever the scenario calls for, and you're ready to go. So this has a lot of options and can be used, more than just for World War II. Let's have a closer look at the casting for the hardened emplacement. Now, Danger Close Dioramics uses a dental plaster, and as such, it is a little bit rough, and that's understandable. There is a cutout located here. It can either be placed in the front or the back, but most likely used for an entrance. The casting is nicely done. It's a little bit rough, but I find it well acceptable with being concrete. A modeler can either sand it to lessen the effect or add a plaster putty to it to enhance the effect, whichever they'd like to do. You got some flash on the sides that need to be taken care of. As with the system of casting, there are air pockets located throughout. They can either be filled or they can be enhanced as impact points to give it more visual interest. So let's go ahead and put a little Panther turret on here and just give you a quick idea of what it looks like here. Fits rather nicely on there, as you can see, and sits pretty good and flush. This is to me a Panther, and could probably sand down the turret ring a little bit to make it set a little bit better on the hardened emplacement. But it looks pretty nice. I like that. Let's take another turret, a little more unconventional this time, and we'll place it on there and just give it a little extra C. And then what we have here is a Sherman turret. Not as common, of course, as your Panther turrets, but it fits also as well. The turret ring is a little bit, the cast-in turret ring is a little bit bigger for it, but should work out quite nicely. You can either use a Dremel tool or something to probably grind away the inner ring if you need to. So, but I think this will definitely work, and like I said earlier, with some of the more modern subjects. So all in all, it's a nice casting. It has a little bit of a rough bottom, as you can see here. You can either probably sand that, but since this will be sitting on the ground, it shouldn't be any problems with that. So I think this is a great product and very useful for modelers. The price is good, and it's pretty simple and straightforward. Let's take a look at the stone arch bridge that Danger Close Dioramics offers. This is probably their largest structure to date. It's comprised of 3 components, 2 of which are the arches, and the third is the upper deck or roadway of the bridge itself. As you can see, there's a pretty nice detail cast already into the upper deck of the wooden planks for the road, and then the stone railings on the side. They can be further enhanced with a little carving and engraving, and shouldn't be much of a problem to do that. Details are also on the side as well. Now, as for the bottom, there is no detail, and will need to be sanded smooth for it to fit onto the arches without any problems. There is a large pour point here, which also need to be addressed too prior to that. And also do have some details on the side, or the edges, if you will. Now let's take a look at the arches. They have the cast detail as well on both sides, and looks quite nice. It's more pronounced than on the say the wooden deck on the bridge. The tops is where the plaster is poured will need to be sanded smooth for a good fit. Got good detail on the inner area of the arches. Quite a nice piece. Now, unfortunately, my sample came with the second arch was unfortunately broken. I did contact Danger Close, and I was informed that this is an area that they're currently addressing, and believe they have found a remedy for that. So hopefully this won't be an issue in the future. It can be easily glued back together with CA or epoxy glue without any problem. So it's not a deal breaker by any means. So go ahead and place the top on the arches here. Get a sense of what we're dealing with here. It's well over 1 foot in length, and we'll take a one of my little side projects here and put that on there to give you an idea of the scale. This is a 1/35 scale Sherman, and it fits quite nicely on the bridge there. The Sherman has good clearances, but heavier tanks such as Panthers, Tigers, and King Tigers might be pretty snug. So definitely double check the measurements, which are posted on the Danger Close website, so you can double check that before you purchase it. You can also expand the bridge by adding more of them at both ends and make it a longer length. So another great product by Danger Close Dioramics. The price is good, and the construction is rather quite easy and straightforward, and should be accessible to most every modeler. This will make an attractive addition to whatever your current project is, and make for an excellent diorama accessory. I'd like to thank everyone for watching this What's in the Box review, and stay tuned for more to come. Bye-bye.